Welcome all participants across APAC and Gulf. It's such a pleasure to host this session for you today. Welcome to another session of RecRoute session 4. Well, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be absolutely exciting as a session to begin with. And I'd like you to sit back and relax because we have a special speaker today who's going to address. And I'm really, really privileged to host this session for you all today. Well, the topic for today is on digital transformation, right? And as they say, the stakes are higher than ever for organizations when it comes to attracting and recruiting top talent. Talent is arguably the most valuable asset to an organization, and with emerging technologies in AI, machine learning, hiring top talent and meeting hiring targets faster is the most important goal for organizations today. So how do they leverage technology to meet their hiring needs? Before we start this session, I would like to thank you all again for making time to attend this session, which is quite apt looking at the accelerated digital transformation we have witnessed in almost every sphere of our life in the last couple of years, and recruitment industry is of no exception. In fact, it's the technology that kept businesses afloat during the pandemic, and so it will be right to say that in the times that we are living in, digital transformation is imperative for success of any organization. Without any further ado, let me introduce our guest, Kapil Joshi, today, and he is the Director for Recruitment Solutions from Quess Corp. And we are extremely delighted to have him today. Well, let me introduce Kapil. I'll just take a minute to introduce him. Well, an engineer by vocation, but a recruiter and sales leader at heart. Kapil Joshi has made phenomenal impact in his career spanning over 20 years. Today, he helps Quess Search and Recruitment and is known for his visionary outlook and his consistent drive for delivering extraordinary results. Kapil began his career with jobshead.com and then transitioned to BFSI, that is banking and finance sector, as a sales leader with HDFC Bank, and then with ICICI Securities, making this first foray into the recruitment industry with Adecco. His Quess journey began with erstwhile Magna Infotech. Now, staffing in 2015. He then transitioned to contribute before returning to India to help Quess Search and Recruitment. Well, let me tell you, Kapil is an innovator who believes in digitization and process, which are at the heart of any success story in today's world, and is hence constantly driving change through digital transformation across all his mandates. Well, over to you, Kapil. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Noel, for a good introduction. And it's always pleasure, to be on this forum where you have audience, which is largely and mainly recruitment industry and close to my heart. Most of these people who are on, today participating as audience today, I'm sure they are supporting their company or their customer in some or other way on their digital transformation by providing a talent pool which is can transform digitally their organization. But it is also equally important to understand that how digital transformation has impacted their own career and performance. So I look forward. I hope the discussion will be quite insightful.
Well, absolutely. I hope the same as well. Thank you so much for that. And well, to start with, since we have a wonderful theme to begin with, I just wanted to check what, according to you, has changed in the last 20 years since the time that you started your career?
So it is a big change. I would say, 20 years back, if I have to take you, just imagine a world without internet, without a smartphone, without mobile, and without any social media, right? And the only tool available for a recruiter was a landline phone. I mean, so, just imagine how tough it was for a recruiter to source, screen, or get even a single candidate in a day, a right candidate. Obviously, you don't have access to any tool. Now, at that time, there was only one way of hiring people was a give one full paper ad, okay, email ID, and the wait for candidate to respond. Okay. And in other way, if candidate wanted a job, the only way for him to get a job is to walk in organization or in a placement consultancy office with hard copy of the CV. Okay, so it was very lengthy, tedious process. If you want a job, it must be 3 months to 6 month time period. It was not so easy. And today we are lucky that we have gone through the complete transformation. We are well connected today. If you want to reach any candidate, you have 10 different way of reaching to him. You have WhatsApp, you have SMS, you have email, you have social media, LinkedIn, Facebook. There are various methods to reach any candidate. So today life is much better for a recruiter, and thanks to digitalization.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that at all. Well, to just, connect to what we just spoke about, how does it benefit the recruiters? Why should they move from the traditional way of recruitment to digitalized way as such?
So you need to understand the benefit what digitalization bring to us. Okay, a recruiter can reach a wider audience, or a large number of job seekers if he's using the digital tool. For example, the job board where you find the job seekers which are actively, and active job seekers contribute roughly 30% of your total talent pool available in the market. But there are another 70% people who are not actively looking for a job, but definitely they are available on the Facebook or LinkedIn or other social media platform. Okay, so you have a digital tool can help you to reach wider range of talent pool. Second thing, digital tool can also help you in quick sourcing and screening. There are tools available for assessment where, for example, there are tools for coding test, analytical skill, or critical thinking, for your language proficiency. Okay, so recruiter can also leverage on this technical assessment tool, and all this together, help you to shorten the entire hiring process, find out the best talent within the time period.
Absolutely. Well, finding the best talent in the time period. Wow. Well, that's something that is equally very important. And I guess the practices will definitely help us too. I definitely had, another question where I wanted to ask, and, why do you think companies should go digital in the recruitment process? What do you think can be the prominence out here?
This is certainly, for company only. I mean, the company will be definitely biggest beneficiary because they run the business, they make the money. Okay, and what they need is the best talent, right, on time. Okay, and the losses, which they incurred due to non-availability of the talent pool, or wrong hiring, or is big. Okay, so for a company, digital transformation is key to success. For example, I will take few minutes to describe this. Okay, how does it work? Okay, any recruiter today, or any person from your HR department, if they reach to any candidate, okay, the first thing what candidate do is that candidate visit on your company website. He do the Google search about your company website. He goes to your career section. He try to find out, how is your work culture, work environment, work-life balance within the organization, what kind of career progression you provide. Okay, and in fact, candidate also go and check the feedback of ex-employee. I mean, you have platform like Glassdoor where any ex-employee gives the feedback about the company and their own experience. So before applying the job, candidate actually decided that whether he want to apply or don't want to apply, and your visibility on social media platform play a big role. Okay, and company probably company spend a lot of money in branding of their product and services, but there are very few companies who actually spend money to brand them as an employer. Okay, And that is key to success. Second thing is how organization is managing talent pool, or the database what they are building. Okay, I have seen most of the organization has best of the tool available in the world. Okay, they use Beeline, Field Glass, they have Talent Recruit, they have RecRoute. There are various ATS tool available. Okay, but the irony is that these tools are not used properly. Okay, they still work outside the ATS. The only time which most of the organization use ATS is that to do the duplicity check. And you will be surprised to know that, and I am sure many people on the call today will agree that every time when you source and upload two profiles, the one profile is already in company's database. It is duplicate. Okay, so it means each company has enough database, the candidate available to them, those who are interested in working with them. Okay, they are looking for a job also. Okay, but you are not capitalizing on your own database which you have built up over the years. Why? Because you are working in silo and on same traditional method, and you are losing the benefit. Third thing is, think about the candidate point of view. Okay, a recent survey by Career Builder has actually, they have done the survey on candidate experience. Okay, so a candidate who has a bad experience, okay, 42% chances that he will never apply again for your company. Okay, 22% people said that they will discourage others not to apply for this company. Okay, and 9% candidates who has a bad experience said that we will not buy any product or services from this company. So it means that you are not just losing the good candidate and best talent pool, but you are also losing a potential customer just because bad candidate experience. So I think company should think about all this and should plan their digital transformation around it.
Well, I definitely love to reckon with that as well, and I thanks for igniting us in terms of saying how candidate experience is extremely crucial. I couldn't agree more with you at all, Kapil. Thank you for throwing some light on that. Well, as we progress further, what tools would you recommend for talent acquisition professionals to adopt to make the process of recruitment easy?
So Noel, I will not take the name, but there are tools available for every stage. So let's break entire hiring process into few stages. One is that your branding, social media presence. Another one is your sourcing. Then you have screening. Then you have background verification and offer management. And then last stage is candidate engagement. We have tool, okay, which can be utilized at every stage. And there are tools available where it is good for entire hiring process. Okay, there are ATS tools which are well compatible with job boards, social media. Okay, they have inbuilt WhatsApp facility or auto response, or you can schedule the interview also. So the question, and I believe most of the organization is already invested heavily in digital transformation. The problem here is not the investment or the tool. The problem here is the adoption. Okay, the adoption, that user convenience and the buying. Okay, I have seen that though most of the organization has a tool and investment, the users are still working outside the tool. Okay, they are using the same old method of mail exchange, calls. Okay, which making them inefficient more than getting the benefit or ROI. Okay, so I think key to success here is adoption. I think the senior management play a big role here. They need to elaborate and they need to drive this digitalization piece by themselves.
Absolutely, I agree with that. And I guess leadership plays a very crucial role where they also set up leaders and set them up for success tomorrow. And I definitely would like to agree. And I'd also, welcome, it's been like, I've been asking questions, but I also would love to see the participants also asking any questions. So feel free to, go ahead and, drop in your questions on the chat box. So I'll just leave the house open for, let's say, around 30 seconds, and then maybe we can go ahead and resume the session with related to any questions that they might have. So we also have Indra Kumari, who had raised her hand. So Indra Kumari, in case you are able to, go ahead and drop in your response on the chat box, that will be fantastic for us to, go ahead and pick up. I'm sure that, you'll all have a lot of questions moving forward. So let me just go ahead and, ask you guys if you have anything that you'd like to add or take away from this session. So feel free to, drop in your responses on the chat box. And I appreciate that, you guys have raised your hands, but it'll be great if, we can pick up all your responses from the chat box, which will also make a way for the others to, go ahead and also create that significance too. All right, so we have the first question for today, Kapil, and it is from M. Khadri, and he's asked a brilliant question. What tool is available for storing CV in a company database for future use?
So the most common tool is, called as ATS, your application tracking system. Okay. And there are various sorts of, application, which is your job boards, which are your internal employee referral, or maybe, your own career section on your company website. So there are ATS tool available, which can be configured with all the sourcing channel. And you have the, database built in your ATS. And the best part is today is that ATS, all the ATS are, AI and ML driven, where you can short and, stack ranking also, all those things.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I guess, that would have answered that question. So we have a lot of questions also, in the chat box coming up your way. So we have another question from Devarshi, and that's a brilliant question again. How to use LinkedIn effectively, not the premium version, of course. And that's a good one, Devarshi. So how do we go about that, Kapil?
So, and I tell you, half of the world is, doing recruitment through LinkedIn without even paying for it. Okay. So how you do it? Let me tell you, you have to build the community. Okay. For example, today you are working for a big four company. You are hiring chartered accountant, and you are hiring only folks who are good in audit. Okay. So now what you can do is that you build a community. Okay. All your connection, if on the LinkedIn or from this community, okay, you can pass on your message, you can spread the, whatever demands you are working, okay. And all this people can actually work for your advocate. Your connection can be your advocate. I'm using this term, Noel, which was very common, 20 years back when I started a career. At that time, today we have, job boards, we have social media, and we can directly engage with the candidate to whomsoever we want. But earlier it was not a situation. So every recruiter, what happens that every recruiter used to have advocate. So for example, that I do the sales hiring, I know at least 10 or 20 sales manager or regional sales manager. Okay, so every time whenever a new position come to me, I just pass on message to this 20 advocate, and this 20 advocate will give me at least 4 or 5 good reference. Okay, so LinkedIn, probably you can, build your advocate base. Okay, you are not alone. Don't need to do sourcing. Build your advocate.
Wonderful. I guess those points will definitely add on and also give us a a broader projection in terms of how to handle it as well. Before I come to the the questions in the chat box, I guess there are a couple of participants who've raised their hands. So I'll take the liberty to just help them talk. So Adhir, Kishore, and Lalita have raised their hands. So let me just take the privilege to allow them to talk. So I have enabled that, Kishore, for you to go ahead and talk or ask your question. If you're not able to, maybe because of any internet connectivity, you can always drop your questions in the chat box. So Adhir, Kishore, I have given you rights to speak. You can probably unmute yourself and talk.
Adhir, go ahead.
Yeah. All right, so maybe Adhir is probably checking his connectivity. So we'll move on. We'll move on to Lalita Bharani. Lalita, I've just given you access to go ahead and probably talk. Since you've raised your hand, I just felt that you had a question, so you can unmute yourself and talk. Okay, Lalita, can you hear me, or were you able to at least unmute and talk? If you're not able to, don't worry. We all have the chat box, so we can pick up your responses from the chat box as well. So as the the virtual participants are gearing up to talk, let me just move on quickly to Nupur Jain, who asks, what is the best tool for recruitment from the chat box?
Best tool for recruitment? No, boss. I see. There are various tools, and every tool is good for something. So there are some platform which is good for your low end hiring. There are some good platform which is good for your tech hiring. There are some platform are good for CXO level hiring. So I mean, it depends on that which position or which domain or industry you are working for, what level of hiring you do. So I mean, it is very difficult for me to rate one single sourcing channel as the best.
Yes, Kapil, I guess I agree with you there. And yes, I'm sure that that would have answered the question as well. So we have one more. Wow, I mean, the questions are just popping up in the chat box. So yes, the next question would be from Kanu Chaturvedi, and she asks another fantastic question. What can be internal or external factors which affect on recruitment?
Okay. So obviously recruitment, external factors is obviously talent pool availability. Okay. So there are certain skill set. Let's talk about digital technology itself. Okay. The way digital transformation is moving ahead, I think India will have almost 2 million resources shortfall. There will be gap of demand and supply by 2030. Okay. So one is, obviously external factor is that, resource pool availability. Okay. The second is, obviously, every company has their own criteria. They have their own work culture. They want value fit, cultural fit guy. Okay. And sometimes, it is not just a skill. I think this soft skill become a challenge. Okay. And so there are, the challenges, but I mean, external challenges can be many, but I don't think there should be any internal challenges. As long as you know that to whom you want to hire, what exactly you are looking for, what are your screening parameter. If you are clear on your job description and your expectation, I don't think there should be any internal challenge.
Yes, agree to that totally. All right, so since there are a lot of questions, let me just put across another question again, which is from Hari Prasad. I would like to ask, selected and candidates. Okay, let me just rephrase that question. I would like to ask, Hari, if you can just rephrase the question. I'm not able to probably grab that a little. If you can just, maybe there's a typo error or something. If you just want to rephrase the session, rephrase the question, that will be great. I'll move on to the next question from Aisha. I'm not a premium member again, for LinkedIn. How can we use LinkedIn effectively? Aisha, I guess this question is already answered. Kapil, any closing points on that, especially for using LinkedIn effectively?
So build connection, build network. Okay, don't treat LinkedIn as a hiring or as a job board. If you don't have the premium services, use it for your networking and building a reference base. Like I said, build advocate.
Perfect. Wonderful. Adding on to that, I also have another question from Ashok, who says that how can small companies like us hunt real good talent, especially in a testing laboratory?
Testing laboratory industry. Okay, I will not. My reply may not be industry specific. I think it apply to all the small companies. See, the small company is not going to hire the entire world. Okay. And you don't need to target them, and you don't need the budget. Okay, like I said in my earlier comment, that identify that what kind of resource you need. Okay, what exactly you are looking from. Okay, so first you identify your target audience and design your campaign around that. Okay, so you don't need any budget. A small company don't need any budget. I mean, there are campaigns which can be a zero budget also, like you organize webinar for your community, or you plan hackathon, or you plan some other event for engagement. Okay, and that's way to get in touch with the all passive job seekers, and you can build your own market. I mean, see, you decide the target audience and run your campaign around that.
Yes, definitely. Making your own campaign itself is like a milestone itself. I guess we need to have those regular checkpoints. But I'm motivated to ask a question as well, Kapil. Just wanted to check, how important feedback could be, and how constructive do you think these feedbacks could be? For probably in the interview, during the phase of interview, so on and so forth.
So that's a very gray area. I mean, I have seen that there are very few companies who actually give the constructive feedback to a candidate. Most of the candidate, post application, doesn't get any communication. Forget about the feedback; they don't get the acknowledgement also. I think we need to work a lot there, and digitalization can definitely help with the auto response, and can regularly update the candidate on his application status. Okay, feedback can be also automated. Okay, but yes, candidate deserve the feedback, and like I said, the bad candidate experience can damage your reputation, it can hamper your business also. So it's a very important thing.
Yes, yeah, and I guess it plays a very, very crucial role in also, building that significance for that organization as well. So coming forward to with the next.
Well, I just want to add one more thing. I have observed if you give the feedback and build good rapport with the candidate, I have seen that even rejected candidate can give you or refer you the best and suitable candidate.
Right.
Okay. So please don't judge the candidate based on his quality. He can be your advocate also.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. He can be your advocate as well. And I guess there are a lot of other questions coming up with related to advocacy too. But then let me ask, with Pooja's question, which is another fabulous question. So mid-level companies find it tough to introduce high tech in recruiting due to limited budget. So how should they go about embracing new age tech in their hiring arsenal? And any tips for attracting top talent when your brand is not as well known as it should be? Fabulous.
Correct. So, I mean, Noel, look at it in this way. Every company, whether it is small or big, even a startup company which is operating from the garage, has something to offer. I mean, a small company can offer, freedom, space, empowerment, entrepreneurship. There are a lot of things, a lot of benefit with a small company also, with unknown company also, right? You do multitasking, you have experience on multiple domain and functions, right? So I suggest, let's all these companies, who doesn't have the big brand name, but I am sure they will have something which they can offer to the candidate. Maybe a purpose. Okay, I have seen that most of the candidate today after COVID is trying to find out the purpose. And if you have some purpose, and if your candidate, you can find some candidate who can, who has consent or agree with your purpose and want to be part of your journey, good enough, then you don't need to sell the job, you don't need to sell the employee benefit. The purpose itself is good enough. So my suggestion to all such small company, that please list down what you offer to the candidate, and I'm sure there might be 10 good things about your own company.
Yes, definitely. And I guess that also plays a very critical role there, Kapil. Thank you so much for making that easier, as showcasing it as a technique as well. So let me go with the next question from Vaishnavi. So Vaishnavi asked a brilliant question here. She asks, what are the challenges that you see technology will pose for the recruiters in the times to come?
Definitely. I mean, best way is that go with the flow. Okay. So for example, like I said, if 2 years back, you were working with only a couple of job boards. In India, there was not many job boards. Okay. We used to have only 1 or 2 job boards majorly, and every recruiter was, working on the same platform. Now today, we have multiple job boards, not only job boards, we have other forum also, like social media, LinkedIn, you have another method of attracting the people, passive job seekers by hackathon or webinar. Okay, so there are multiple sourcing channel today. Now just imagine if that recruiter has stick to only one sourcing channel. He has not upgraded himself till now and not using other sourcing channel available to him. He is actually out of the market, right? So And let's take one more example. Today, as a Quess recruitment and search, 30% of our CV submitted to the client are technically validated profile. Okay, which means they have 50% hit ratio. Okay, now there are recruiters who are not focusing on technical assessment or screening of the profile. Okay, and still relying on their client or their business manager to screen or validate the profile. I mean, it is a big loss. They are, that recruiter will be irrelevant in few years if you are not capitalized on the tech. Okay, so my advice to the recruiter, please get used to this digital tool. It is there to help you. And if you don't use this digital tool which are available for you, like I gave you the two example of sourcing channel and technical assessment, what will happen that maybe in few years when the world moves on, you will be reaching to dead end. So please make best out of this.
Yes, it's better not to reach to a dead end as well. Thanks for putting spotlight on that as well, Kapil. So there are questions pouring in from the chat box, so I'll not delay that anymore. So we have another question from Ashwini. Hi, Kapil. Any tips on making a team understand about ATS and how is it going to make their life easy and not add the burden to their work?
So the best way is train. Have a refresher training. Okay, as much as you can do. Okay, and like I said, the initiative should come from the management, our manager, our leads. Okay, so if manager doesn't review, through report published by ATS, okay, or you do your client review on some manual data published or reports published, okay, trust me, your recruiter won't be motivated to use ATS. I think the drive should come from the management. If they start reviewing, they start analyzing, ATS, the users will automatically go up.
True. And it's very important for us as leaders to also, make a way for them and empowering them to use that tool as well. Thank you so much, Kapil. Moving on to the next question from Arun. What are the biggest hindrances in talent acquisition tool adoption? Is there a need of a simpler product?
So it is the biggest hindrance is your own mindset. We don't like change. We want to work the way we are working, right? We all human believe in our own gut feeling that, okay, I know this candidate is good. I will process, I will submit this CV, right? We are not relying on, technical assessment tool, or we are not relying on the coding test. Okay, we believe ourselves more than the tool available, and that is the biggest hindrance, the mindset. So my suggestion and request to everybody on the call is that please, be open-minded. This tool are, to make you more efficient, more productive, and if you use them, I think the result will be far better.
Yes, definitely, Kapil. And I guess they should also apply to that and also look at it from a perspective which would actually work. And moving on to the next question, which is from Uday. Comparison with the old recruitment, old style recruitment versus the new strategy recruitment. So there he just asked for a comparison, distinguishing both of that.
Yeah. So old and new, I will just describe in two words. Old one was reactive hiring. Okay. And today the new version is passive hiring. When I say reactive hiring is that you want person today. Okay. So what do? You go and search a job boards, which is where you have only active job seekers available. And trust me that active job seekers pool is only 30% of total talent. Okay, and then you have all those quality issue, the budget issue, the joining ratio, and the project, hampered. Okay, but if now the new way is digital tech. Okay, most of the companies knows their hiring projection very well. You have data analytics available on your attrition forecast also. Okay, it is not very difficult for a company to plan passive hiring, and when you plan passive hiring, chances of you getting the right talent is much higher. Okay, within the budget, on the time, is very high. So this is old and new. I think the world should move towards the passive hiring, and then there are enough opportunity and enough platform available.
Yes, and we should probably also consider that passive hiring is progressive as such. And there's another interesting question there from Devarshi. So which job portal would be best for a recruiter who is trying to convince its management to buy a package and is completely new to it? Looking for an easy, hassle-free portal to start with. Also, there is a constant fear of how I will use the portal after the purchase? Well, that's an interesting question there, Devarshi. Yeah, Kapil.
1 minute, I just read it. Which job portal would be the best for a recruiter who is trying to convince its management to buy a package and new to it? Okay, I mean, I mean, every job portal has, like I said, has their own strength. They are good at certain things. There are certain features which make that job portal very unique. Okay, so I suggest you connect with that job portal only and tell them that, boss, please provide me USP, how you are better than others. Okay, the second thing is obviously from users point of view, again I said training. You have to completely regularly have a refresher training for users.
Well, absolutely. And that refresher training would also check the adoption in terms of how the usage is and what we could do further. So Aisha has another question: how to use GitHub for recruitment, GIT Hub for the recruitment as such?
So, Noel, honestly speaking, I won't be able to comment on this. We are not actively using this platform, but I heard a lot about them. There are some unique features which make them very special.
Awesome. I'm sure that you would have the reason behind that. And moving on to the next question from Kadri again, please give the difference between poaching and advocating.
Okay. So poaching is like something, which you are, getting it from competition. You are targeting the specific, the person or a specific department. The target is already fixed. I mean, I don't think in today's world, when you have poaching used to happen, 20 years back. Now, you have wider range of pool available. Okay, why to do poaching? I mean, why do you want a specific person to hire? I mean, you have job description and there might be 100 people available, best or better than the identified person. Okay, so I think poaching is not happening anymore in this industry. People are, people know what they want. Okay, and they don't say that who they want, right? In my career, I have not come across a single position or a single case where somebody has instructed me that I want to hire this person. I always get that, okay, I need such a person, who can do this, right? So I think poaching is it is old term, and I have not observed it much in today's world because recruiter has access to much larger and bigger pool available today. Advocating, yes, like I said, advocating is nothing but influencing somebody, and it is not wrong. Okay, if I have a common friend between candidate and me, I may try to send my message through friend or through advocate. Okay, and that is nothing wrong. I mean, if there are candidates who trust somebody and they listen to somebody, it can be ex-colleague, ex-manager. Okay, and if you approach through them, it's good. I mean, the result will be far better.
Yes, totally. And the approach would definitely work as such. And there's a question from Smita about using LinkedIn effectively. Smita, I guess we've already, answered the question. If there's anything specific, we'd love to take it from the chat box. So we just try to, rephrase that question because we've already had a couple of questions related to that. So I'll move on. Just in case you have it, please drop it on the chat box. Let me go to Radhika, who has a question. Who says, what to do when candidates do not appear for the interview after scheduling it? Is this a lacking on the recruiter part?
Candidate not appearing for the interview. Honestly speaking, last 2 years, such cases are very rare. In today virtual world, when candidate doesn't need to travel, I mean, you have to be in your home in whatever clothes you are wearing. You have to just switch on your camera, click on the link, and attend the interview, right? So I think now such no show are very uncommon, okay, in a virtual world, and that's another benefit of digital technology. Okay, so thanks. But definitely, if somebody is no show, I think your manager or interviewer definitely expect an advance heads up. Okay, and he can get an advance heads up only when recruiter follow with the candidate. Okay, so as a practice, I used to call it, in old days, ABC rule. Okay, one day prior, you talk to the candidate, talk whether he is ready or not. Morning again, you tell him all the best. And in the just 15 minutes before the call, you again follow up and say, are you ready? I mean, internet connection, backup power, is everything is in place? Okay, so I mean, if you do this ABC, I mean, such incident will not happen.
Yes, truly.
And no show will still happen. But what people expect from you, the interviewer expect that, okay, I can be informed in well advance. That's all people want.
Yes, I agree with that. And yes, that's what people would want. And that's something that they would want to probably, have a consideration on. And I guess we will move on to the next question. How to hire, this is from Sambhavi, and she asked how to hire employees for the startup company and to retain them, even paying them good as well.
Sambhavi, I think I have already answered this question, multiple times in this forum. We can move on to next.
Sure. All right. So let's move on to the next question. Could you please explain, this is from Shanza, and can you please explain that which media or software can be used for digitalization? Anything in specific?
There are various options available. So, depend on, like I said, there are 4 stages, and for every stage, there are different tools. So there are tools for social media branding. There are tools for sourcing, okay, and there are tools for screening, okay, and there are CRM tool for candidate engagement also, okay, and then we have background verification and offer management tool also, and there are tools for candidate engagement also, which can actually predict that whether candidate will join or not based on their activities and involvement, and the curiosity they are showing. I mean, there are tools available which can predict whether candidate will be joining you or not. So depend on what is your pain area and which area you want to fix it. There are multiple tools available.
Yes, agreed. And in the interest of time, I guess, Kapil, there are a lot of questions, but I'm forced to go ahead and probably pick up the last 2 questions. So we will do that. Appreciate all the excitement as well. A lot of people have present for a lot of questions. So last second question would be: we have a huge database as a recruiter now. So which software will support proper segregation of applications as per their profile in our system?
So probably, the ATS what you are using currently may be outdated. Most of the ATS currently are, AI and ML driven. So they can exactly, you can upload the job description and they will show you the exact matching, CVs. And the new ATS tool also put them in order. The most relevant CV will be on the top, okay, and least relevant CV will be on the bottom, okay. And in fact, you don't have the JD, okay, but for example, you already have 5 people working on some position and you want to get another 5 people for the same level and same position. You have to just pull those 5 CV of the existing resource and it will tell you that another 50 people just like this 5 people. So, I mean, today's ATS are very smart, and I think this problem can be fixed very easily, and probably Ashwini, you might be using the old version of ATS.
Well, absolutely. I guess the upgrade will do, and that's going to be the solution. I guess we will have it wrapped up to one last question for today. I'm sure it'll also give the summary as well. Is virtual hiring going to be the future way of hiring? Does it have any disadvantages as such?
So virtual hiring is not a future. I think it is a reality now. Okay, last last 2 years, whatever hiring has happened in my own team, probably I would have hired at least 1,000 people, and trust me, I have not met even one of them till today. Okay, so entire hiring, expansion happened during COVID was, virtual hiring through only. And so it's a reality now. Okay, honestly speaking, I don't see any drawback because the quality of result what we see today is far better than it was pre-COVID level. Okay, the people are productive, equally efficient, equally engaged in all HR activities. Okay, so it's a reality now, and it's better that we accept it.
Yes, and we got to accept it, and yes, that is the reality as well. And well, thank you so much, Kapil, for taking time. The questions are still popping up, but thank you so much for for extending another couple of minutes for staying along with us. I really appreciate your time and efforts for ensuring that you had taken us through everything. So we are very grateful, and we are definitely again privileged to have hosted this session today. Thank you so much, Kapil. Truly appreciate that. Any final words before you go? We'd love to hear it from you.
Thank you, Noel. My last word would be probably, like I said, don't reach to dead end. I mean, go with the flow. Okay, digitalization is the future. Okay, and these tools are for your benefit, and you can be more productive, more efficient, and your career can be long lasting if you capitalize on it.
Brilliant, sir. I guess that's a wonderful way of saying that as an ending note. But a lot of participants would be a lot curious to to reach out to you as well. So what are the different platforms that you're available as well, sir? In case we'd like to just reach out to you and just say hi to you.
So LinkedIn is the most. I'm easily available on LinkedIn. Anybody can send me the request. There is no block, no filter. Okay, and trust me, I mean, I never decline any request till in my life. So all are welcome.
Thank you, sir. That's very generous of you. We truly, truly appreciate that. Thank you so much, man of the hour, Kapil Joshi. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and patience. It was wonderful, wonderful having you today with us. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, so we've come to the end of the session. So in case you have any feedback, you could probably take this survey. So once I go ahead and wrap up this session, you will receive a feedback link for which you will, all our feedback would be, collated. We'd probably have a thought about how the session went by. Feel free to drop in a note on the feedback note. So you will be getting the feedback as soon as, you end the session as such, or as soon as I end the session. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate all the enthusiasm, the participation, and the way you've actually, brought in more energy to this session. I guess this wouldn't have been complete without all of you. Thank you so much. Take care. And I guess we had a wonderful episode 4. I look forward to seeing you all again. Signing off. Noel signing off today. Take care. Have a wonderful, blessed week ahead. Thank you so much.